Hey everyone, welcome back to our channel. If you're new here, please subscribe. I'd really love that. If you're returning, how you doing? What we're going to be talking about today is what people are seeing and experiencing in everyday life when it comes to being of the prepared mind. And I get sent pictures, videos, emails, and links. And if you would like to send me something for a video, my email is in the description box below. So this first email comes in from a community member with a picture. She said, this is what I found. They're little fire starters. I found them at Dollar General for $6 a piece. That's really awesome. Oh, and there's 16 of them in the box. That's a really great deal. Awesome. So here's an email from a community member. She said, "Hi, how are you? I'm doing well. My my rotator cuff is still bothering me really bad. So I still have my my TENS unit on. It feels a little bit better today because I rested all day yesterday and today, but it's still I can't move. Yeah, my whole right side, I can't move my arm at all. So it hurts really bad. But I'm other than that, I'm okay. I really am. I have a little bit of movement like with my lower arm, but if I try to move like my entire arm, oh my God, not today, Satan. So she said, I just got a new phone with complications. Oh dear Lord. She said, my phone carrier had only two options. I asked to look at them and he showed me a website that charges $100 less than they're selling it for. He said, I can get that price after my year is up after March 1st. Well, that's not a deal. So I went to Best Buy. I found one that I liked, and she had to check to see if they had one. Thank God they did. $200, originally $250. I went back to my phone carrier with this phone, and they were surprised. A model that they're out of. They said there's a phone shortage. A what? A phone shortage? Okay. She said the link is all I could find. Okay. Thank you. She said they said home office doesn't allow very many phones in their stores. Is it because of theft? What she said, on top of a big shortage, they've been having trouble getting budget phones. Yes, plenty of Apple phones, well, of course, because they got to push that. She said, nope, budget phones are in short supply. Please warn the community if they're looking for a budget phone, they may have some trouble. My phone store was completely sold out of it. It was completely sold out except for two. Yikes. Well, what do they consider budget phones? Like this phone that I have, um, like when I bought this phone was already out on the market for like 3 years and I paid $100 for it. Is that considered a budget phone? Because I don't really care about having up to date, the newest and the brightest and all the glitter and unicorn farts and all that. I don't really care. You know what I mean? If it works, okay, great. I mean, I still don't even know how to power this thing down to do a restart. You know what I mean? Because I don't really know about electronics. You know what I mean? So, I mean, if it doesn't update, it has to do it on its own because I don't know how to do any of that. You know what I mean? So let me look at this link and I'll read it to you and then I'll leave it in the description box below. Global microchip shortage recap and the outlook for 2024. Okay. So since the emergence of the pandemic some 4 years ago, the semiconductor and microchip industry has faced significant fluctuations worldwide, influenced primarily by factors such as supply chain disruptions and shifting consumer demands. Despite these challenges, the industry has shown itself to be resilient and adapt to achieve a consistent growth rate. The global semiconductor market has valued at $610.15 billion, but yet there's a shortage. And that was in 2023, and it's expected to reach around 736.40 billion by 2027. remembering why the shortage happened. Let's take a moment to recap why the semiconductor shortage even happened before diving into what's going on now and the outlook for the future. First, the pandemic increased demand for electronics as people worldwide shifted to working from home and sought entertainment through electronic devices. The surge in demand for laptops, gaming consoles, smartphones, and other devices increased the need for semiconductors. The pandemic also caused significant disruptions in global supply chains. Semiconductor manufacturers is a complex process. Okay, so the manufacturing requires years of planning and building. The industry was already running near total capacity before the pandemic, and expanding its capacity takes significant time and investment. Okay, so there's a microchip shortage, and from what I take from her email, from what I'm taking from this, they're only going to put it in the newest and brightest and prettiest iPhones and most expensive phones and screw everybody else. That's what I'm taking. Yeah. So here's an email from a community member. She said, I am early waiting your afternoon video to see if it aligns. Abbott is a WEF member. Is he really? Okay. And from what I understand, has a page on their website devoted to him. Oh, good God. Once he made his declaration of noncompliance, he hightailed it to India, where he probably remains. What scares me is a UN agreement Obama made in his final days in office called the Kigali, Kigali principles that allows the UN to come into any time they want in an emergency that they decide, nothing like using the Constitution for toilet paper. Yeah, no shit. I am also told that despite all the bluster, it is still business as usual at the border. I think it's a trap. You are probably aware that the Liberty Man had mentioned that his or her friend's daughters in the Pacific Northwest went to somebody's house to buy a puppy. I am not aware of this. Who is the Liberty Man? The seller said she was UN's peacekeeper, so many entities seem to have pre-positioned assets in our country. It would be cool if they just offed each other and do a miracle from God, just left us alone. Holy cow. And now a commercial break from my meme guy. So who here shops at Costco? I don't shop at Costco. I shop at Sam's Club. I don't have a membership to Costco, but Costco is now offering new emergency food kits. And apparently this is new. They're just now doing this. And they range from $1,000 to $6,000 in their stores. Who the hell has that kind of money? The kits include 25 to 30-year shelf life items like freeze-dried veg, instant beans, and this is sparking like doomsday prep theories among people, among Costco shoppers. So my question is, what does Costco know that they're not letting on? And who are they to sell emergency food kits for $1,000 on up to $6,000? It's absurd. Not when you can build a pantry, an entire pantry, for less than that. For the love of God. And I don't know if you all heard about this, but Prague, Oklahoma, they had an earthquake late Friday. And the quake was recorded at a 5.1 magnitude that hit about 11:30 at night. and this is east of Oklahoma City. And the earthquake was also felt in Kansas, and people online claim that it shook their communities in Kansas City, Missouri, Blue Springs, and Independence. There are no immediate reports of damages or injuries, so thank God for that. So here's something for you. NATO has announced plans to call up 90,000 troops in one of its largest military drills since the Cold War. Around 20,000 British troops will be included in this call-up as the alliance begins to test each member state ability to engage in conflict. In its largest call-up since the end of the Cold War, since 33 years ago. The exercise, which is called Steadfast Defender, will begin next week and run into the latter part of May. All 31 NATO members will be involved in this drill, plus Sweden, whose membership is being ratified. Germany is also sending in 12,000 soldiers. This exercise will simulate a Russian attack on NATO territory, which would trigger Article 5 of the treaty, meaning that all other member states must mobilize to defend it. Yeah. Now, when I saw this, I said, why? What is the point of this? Last week, insane people, out of their mind activists, threw soup at the Mona Lisa painting at the Louvre Museum in Paris. This has become a common tactic for these activists because it gets them the attention that they so clearly cannot live without. It does nothing to advance the cause that they so seek. But that's not their point because they don't care. They're attention seekers. They just look at me. Let's destroy something that, is priceless. Let's destroy history here. Let's do this. Let's do that. Let's do something that it will. I mean, really? How do you feel about yourself now? Do you think you got your point across? No, you did not. All you did was destroy a piece of history, you morons. And before I go, listen up, gardeners. There's a recent study that wants to stop people from being sustainably food independent and discourage them from growing their own food in urban settings. And the research has indicated that resorting to garden to table, farm fresh, farm to table, causes a far greater carbon footprint than conventional agricultural practices such as rural farms. On average, a serving of food made from traditional farms creates 0.07 kilogram of CO2. Meanwhile, the impact on the environment is almost 5 times higher at 0.34 kilograms per portion for individual city gardens. So says they. The most significant contributor to carbon emissions on the urban agriculture site says that they're studied, was the infrastructure that is used to grow food, from raised beds to greenhouses to pathways, that these constructions had a lot of carbon invested in their construction. So shame on you for having raised beds in your gardens, for having greenhouses or garden sheds, as they call them, or even stone pathways. that lead to your raised beds or to your greenhouses or to your garden sheds or whatever it is that you have in your backyards so you can grow your own foods. How frickin' dare you? You know, what would they have said to people during the Great Depression who had their victory gardens when all they had back then were their victory gardens? Would they have told them the same thing, that their carbon emissions were too high because they were having their victory garden? I'm at a loss when it comes to things like this. I really feel that they need to come back down to reality and someone needs to pop their freaking bubble. All right, guys, I'm out of here. I will see you in the next one. Okay, you stay safe, you stay positive, you keep prepping, and as always, fear less. Ciao.